in on this broadcast, Mohsin Behzad Karimi, who is an Iran EU policy journalist, joining us from Brussels. Mohsin, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. I think one of the big questions that's emerged in the last 24 hours, looking at the global reactions, is who can possibly play mediator in this situation, in this war. And there's a lot of focus on EU on that front. What do you think?
Well, first of all, allow me to let you know this is not a war. This is a liberation for Iranian people. As an Iranian, as someone who's fought this regime for more than 25 years, we Iranian, we don't see this as a war, and we don't need any mediation. For the first time in the history, we need the world, the West, and our respectful neighbors to let it happen. Let us liberate ourselves. Look, France did not got occupied by American forces on a D-Day. France was liberated when American, Canadian, Indian forces they entered to France to liberate the First World War. This is a liberation. This is not a war, and we don't need a mediator. Stay off the case, and please do not support this regime. This is the end. They massacred 50,000 Iranians on the street only in 2 days, whereas in Palestine-Israeli conflict, during 2 years, we nearly had 70,000 casualties on both sides. This regime reached its end, and I call, as an Iranian, as an activist, as a journalist, to all our beloved neighbors, stop supporting this regime, or history will judge you. History will judge you as a journalist, as a citizen, as a politician, as whoever support this monstrous regime which massacring my people for the past 47 years.
No,
this
sure.
is the
Mohsin, you call this a liberation. You call this a liberation movement, but is that actually happening? Yes, Khamenei has been eliminated, but the succession plan has already been put in motion. Nothing's really changed, has it?
No, there is no succession plan. Since the 12-day war in summer, the regime, the snowball effect began. Yeah, this regime is gone. This regime is dead. Trying to salvage the regime by any means is nothing but extending the suffering of Iranian people. Succession, they can bring 10 different scenarios. They have, for sure, any brutal regime or any democratic regime has a crisis management in place, has a planning in place. Succession, no succession. This is the end. And please stay off the case. Do not support this vicious regime in Iran. You see what happened to the neighbors. Imagine if this regime had an atomic weapon. India and Pakistan conflict is a good example of it. Imagine if this regime become another North Korea.
No, so let me explain to you. Let me explain to you what I mean by mediation. At no point are we, defending any regime here. We're very clear that we're reporting on what's happening as far as this conflict is concerned. By mediation, I mean, what's the end game here? Iran is continuing to bomb parts of bases in the Gulf countries. So what's the end game? Israel is continuing to strike. And you are seeing right now Iran continuing with that counter-bombardment. It's not stopped.
This is a hybrid war. This is not the classic war as we know it, okay? There is no boots on the ground yet. If there is going to be a boots on the ground, it's going to be us. We're going to arm ourselves and fight this regime. This is a hybrid warfare. The only civilian casualties, the 80 school kids who are unfortunately perished, it was misfire of IRGC missile. If you look at the map, next door to that school, there's IRGC base, and one of the so-called missile, which we call it firework or boilers, one of the boilers misfired and landed in that school and killed 70 innocent school kids. So far, we don't see any civilian casualties. And if there is, we already paid the price. 50,000 of us been massacred by Iranian regime and its proxies, including the Indian hardline Shia Muslims, Pakistani hardline Shia Muslims, Afghan hardline Shia Muslims. All these proxies, they participated in the massacre of the last month in Iran. And they're going to be hunted down and brought to justice.
Mohsin, just focusing on what's happening currently in Iran. You say there's no succession plan. The indications from Iran is otherwise. Look at the messaging.
I didn't say there is no
You said it's not
plan.
successful. You said it's not successful, yes?
Yeah, there is a plan. There is no other outcome of it. They can change any regime at the moment of poll. Is keep changing
So
administration. I mean, come on, it's a textbook.
ultimately, will that happen only with boots on the ground? Is the regime
No,
change only possible because,
no.
and if there are boots on the ground?
And if there is boots on the ground, so what? First of all. Second of all, boots on the ground is different. We are not Iraq. We are not Pakistan. We are not India. We are one nation. We are ethnically bound to each other, despite all the differences. We are one nation. We are a proud nation with the longest history. We don't have we don't have Independent Day. Do you know why? Because Iran been always a country. We are the only one in the region without Independent Day. We always been independent. We always going to be independent. And I, as an Iranian citizen, not as a journalist, warn our neighbor, stay out of it. Especially the defense minister of Pakistan or any other hardliner who wants to involve and salvage this regime.
Okay.
Enough is enough. In Bangladesh, how many Muslims in Bangladesh, without knowing who Khamenei was, now are mourning his death? It's only one reason, because of the dollars they receive every month through the Islamic establishment over there. It's finished. This cow doesn't give milk anymore.
Okay, Mohsen, appreciate you joining us.